Hi y'all, Katsumi here. Welcome back to my LEGO library, and today we're in the review section and we're adding a botanical collection to my botanical collection. This is the LEGO set number 10309, the Botanical Collection Succulents. This is one of the latest generation of botanical collections. There's only 5 total. The first generation included the bouquet, bonsai, and bird of paradise, and now we got orchids and succulents most recently. As with the botanical collection in general, its age is 18 plus, although that's not necessarily a reflection of the complexity of the build, more so the marketing and who it's intended for. Basically the fact that there's little play value, if any, with this kind of a set, and it has 771 pieces. It is the first that I ever bought that intentionally breaks up the building process into up to 3 people at once, which I plan to utilize and build it with some friends and family. As you can see, it's going to come with a variety of 9 plants. Coming around to the top, we have a very pleasant, delightful view of each of the 9 ones that are represented at the top. And this is the French name, Collection Botanique Les Succulents. Succulents, something like that. The actual size reference is actually a forestman's hat that is used for this plant over here. This side has a Spanish translation, Colección Botanical Succulentes. This side just has a side view. This one is extremely colorful now that I think about it. We have, oh god, the ring light. We have a cute view of them being separated into their individual modules, which is going to be cool. A picture of the actual plants, some display ideas, and the fact that you can hide the pins in one of them, and some dimensions for the tallest one. And then the bottom is that green greebling. Okay, so that's the box. What's inside? Here are what the extra pieces look like. Plenty of unique botanical colors for all those cute botanical elements. This cactus is the one that stores all the extra red pins for connecting them, and it does fit even when you have all the pins in there. And the instruction booklets are of course broken up into three different sections, and they're all thin and staple bound. And believe it or not, what was inside was 9 succulents, just as depicted on the front of the box. Who would have thought? As I said I would, I did utilize the fact that this can be built with up to 3 people simultaneously and built with some friends and family. So I personally only built 3 of them, but I did flip through the instruction manual and learn about each one. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the desert rose. So this is one of the ones I built, and it is fine. The dark red is a very deep and rosy color. I like the use of this hinge mechanism to tilt it, toward the sun. A little bit of technique showing through if you are looking. So clearly a front side with this one. Fun fact about these little dark red pyramid pieces, they appeared first in the now retired Nexo Knights theme. Next is this little ball cactus. This is also another one I built. Super cute. Nice little blossom on top. Great use of these little fin-like pieces. And deceivingly simple, which is kind of a theme with all these. As you can see, they're all on this 6x6 black plates with the same exact pot design for the modularity of being able to connect them with the little red pins that are stored in this one. For review purposes, I have them separated, but I'll show you how I'm going to display them. Succulents in general, including this ball cactus, can live up to 200 years, but LEGO claims in the instruction booklet, where I'm getting this information from, that this one will probably live longer, and I agree. Plastic is plastic. Super cute that they include fun facts and information like that, not only just to learn in general, but just to appear to more adult audience and just kind of add that extra dimension to the building experience. Up next, the one with the pins. This one was not given a specific name, but it is the one that uses the forestman's hats. Again, with all the botanicals, as you can see I'm doing now, you can kind of finely adjust a lot of the organic details to make it look that much more natural and unique compared to, how other people would angle them. So yeah, just a little green one, I guess. Maybe an Echeveria, either a young Echeveria or, just a common green one. And it's a fun detail that this one is on a 5x5 base compared to any other dimension. This orange Echeveria is the first one in the first bag, and it's cute. Nice bright orange color. I believe this is like the light orange color, right? Not necessarily the regular orange. You can adjust the bloom, the amount of bloom on these petals. Clever use of the teeth piece, a small yellow bloom in the middle, and using that nice standard 3-leafed foliage piece, which my dad kept calling 3-toed. Definitely bringing a nice bright warm color, compared to, the desert rose was dark red, so we definitely needed a nice bright warm color, and this one is providing that. Up next we have the hens and chicks, so called because apparently they reproduce readily. Have definitely seen some cactus like this, but again, never heard that name, hens and roses. I'm no succulent expert, but I do feel like this is a nice mix of more common succulents like the ball cactus, for example, and then rarer ones like this hen and chick. I just have never heard of that. They use an ice cream swirl piece in the very center, and actually it's in a light blue color, which I think is very interesting because it does look like it can lead into a pale lime green, so just a nice gradient there. And again, with that angledness, using the same hinge piece as the desert rose actually. And two of these girls in sand green. I've never seen that before. Also, I didn't realize that this hinge piece comes in brown. Is that a new recolor? If it is, I can see that being super useful for some people's custom creations. This moon cactus is probably the most cactus looking of all the cacti here, of all the succulents here. And fun fact, this red part has to be grafted onto another species of cactus, this green part, because this one can't make chlorophyll. Again, another interesting fun fact I learned reading the instruction booklet. The use of these little 3 dead bush pieces is super clever for spikes. This olive green base is contrasting nicely with the other shades of green we have represented, of course. And this peachy coral pink topper is again adding a little bit of color variety to the whole thing, a little bit of bright warmth. This aloe plant leaves something to be desired when these leaves are all the way up. I just feel like they're, super hollow. I mean, I have no idea how they would have filled them in, but just saying. So I might want to display this one more flatly so that you're not seeing that negative space. Maybe this is a very old aloe plant and its leaves are just kind of droopy. Okay, now it looks too wide. But anyways, definitely looks like an aloe plant. The sand green was a perfect color for that. These are all soft claw pieces, but these ones are hard. These ones are plastic molded. The donkey's tail, or burro's tail, is super cute. This is the last one I built myself, and I just love the use of that dinosaur egg piece. It just is appropriate. Not as tedious as it looks. Well, actually, kind of tedious, but just not as much as it looks. Like, you achieve this result pretty quickly. This topper with the perfect 5 ones in each direction definitely adds a nice bit of structure to the overall plant. And you get a bunch of dinosaur eggs. What's not to love? Lastly, we have a purple echeveria, which is crazy that these are both considered echeveria, unless this one gets as big as this one eventually. This one is definitely the most organic looking because of the use of these shoulder blade elements from the buildable figures. And it has just a realistic blossom with a 4-way symmetry, but it's like radial, if you know what I mean. It's not like across, it's like spinning. And similarly with all the other ones that have a bit of adjustment, you can have the bloom be much larger or much tighter. Interestingly, these 4 are made of sand blue, which I find is a nice contrast, similarly to how a light blue is used for the hens and chicks. You wouldn't think that any hue of blue belongs in something like a succulent, but it can be very realistic. So that was all 9 succulents, a really nice combo. A really fun, colorful combo. As you can see, when they're all laid out together, they all balance each other out. Not too much green. That black base allows all their colors to pop well, and again with the modularity. So I think I'm gonna want to do just them in a long row because I have a banister in my room where I want to display them next to my other botanical collections. So I just have to figure out which ones are gonna clash like these are, and maybe, put one of the smaller ones in between them like this. Wait. Why did I snap? That looks pretty good already. Yeah, I think I'm going to display them all in a big row like this. Overall, highly enjoyed the ability to invite my friends and family. I think I will definitely keep that in mind when I go shopping in the future. Just like, oh, let me share my hobby and just, and have some sort of bonding activity with, people I care about. Overall, I'm going to give this set a rating of 4 stars. Thank you guys so much for coming to the library. Do you have real-life succulents? Do you have the LEGO succulents? Do you display them together or do you display them separately? Any succulent lovers out there, what succulents do y'all think they can add if they were to re-release the succulent as another set? I'm gonna go put these in my room now. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you would like a membership to the library, it's completely free. All you have to do is hit subscribe. And may the force be with you.